All right, folks, the work in Washington, D.C. continues on Black Lives Matter Plaza. It's day two of the demolition. 5 years ago, of course, Black Lives Matter was painted on this. This is 16th Street. Republicans demanded that this be demolished or they were going to cut transportation funds for the city for Washington, D.C. Well, guess what? In their continuing resolution, they still want to cut $1 billion from the budget of D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser decided to remove the mural created to protest police brutality and racial injustices. Megan Bailiff is the CEO and president of Equal Striping, the pavement marking company that originally painted the letters. She called the dismantling of the plaza historically obscene. She joins us right now. Megan, glad to have you here.
Nice to be
Somebody
Equal
posted
striping.
something on Twitter that I thought was stunning. And they said, it took more than 100 years, and we are continuing trying to bring down Confederate statues in this country. Yet 5 years after, less than 5 years after the death of George Floyd, this particular monument is already being destroyed in the nation's capital because Republicans have ordered it order DC to get rid of it.
If you look at the way most of the country voted, most of the country agrees with a lot of the things that Republicans say. So you could also say that because the voters have voted for the Republican Party and Donald Trump, that they also do not agree with BLM and all the woke shenanigans that's been going on for the past couple years. Seemingly looks like the people didn't want this either.
Yes, it's very sad. I know that pressure has been on Mayor Bowser from the very beginning when she did this, and one that my company was very proud of being involved in. I think if you could see behind me, that's the framed plans of our work that we did on that spectacular thing, and it is really sad to see it be taken away in just a blink of an eye. My company spent the last 3 years refurbishing it and making it prepared. We thought we were excited about what it meant as a gathering place for what will be happening in the city next year or may not be happening. If Trump gets his way, we may not be able to have the kinds of gatherings that we had there from its outset.
And again, the only reason it is being destroyed is because Republicans demanded it, and they told the mayor to rename it Black Lives Matter Plaza. They wanted it renamed Liberty Plaza.
Wait a second. That's what we're mad about? Is that what he's mad about? He's mad about Black Lives Matter being changed to Liberty? I thought we were about inclusion. That seems more inclusive. I think we're being a little bit against inclusion here. Clearly.
This morning, they called me to clarify something that hasn't been clarified publicly by them, I don't think, prior to this, to say that she actually has not agreed for that name change, that even though that's in the legislation, that isn't something that they are resisting that particular change to this.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, for me, I don't call DCA Reagan Airport. I call it by its letters, DCA. And ain't no way in hell I'm going to ever call that Liberty Plaza.
And I read the headline that it was a reconstruction of the Black Lives Matter Plaza. And the headline that I read said, turning it into Liberty Plaza.
I really don't understand these people. If it's named Liberty Plaza, I mean, isn't that more inclusive than Black Lives Matter? He said he doesn't want to call the airport Reagan National. He just calls it DCA. He's just like blatantly racist, like in like public, because he doesn't want to say a white man's name, I guess, is what I'm assuming. It's so funny, like, because they will literally spend money on stuff that doesn't even matter. Like, you're going to spend all this money on this thing that actually in real life does not matter. Maybe up in your mind, like up in like fairy tale world, in your mind, it probably matters, but in the real world, it literally does not matter. Whether it says Liberty Plaza or BLM Plaza, whatever, it doesn't matter, honestly. No one's going to walk across that and be like, you know what, today I'm going to change. Like, it literally doesn't matter. You're wasting money on this. This is what the left does. They just waste money on stuff that doesn't matter in the real world. Like literally doesn't matter.
Roland, this, people describe these efforts as kind of anti DEI as an umbrella. My argument is these are really pro Jim Crow efforts, and we should really, in terms of how we communicate it, describe it as that. Because how could you support an administration that is clearly anti-Black and has done everything it possibly do to erase, and like I said, any of the successes or challenges that Black folks have faced? Listen, the murder of George Floyd was not just a national issue; it was an international movement in terms of people throughout the country, obviously throughout the diaspora, but folks in throughout the world who are standing with people of African descent and saying that the disproportionate rate at which Black folks are killed is not acceptable.
I do believe that there was it seemed like there was a fairly large movement when that happened, but I think that people overseas are propagandized just as much as people in America are, like as far as like the whole gender thing, transgender, the whole black people are oppressed thing. I think that's also propagandized in Europe, other countries. I think even if you look into the whole USA thing, it probably proves it.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It is absolutely, positively anti-Black, Randy.
I don't think that we can deny that there is an absolute attack on us. They want to act as if our contributions don't exist. They're wiping out any trace of any history that we've had to this country. And they want anything that reminds us of where we are, that we have to remind people that our lives do matter. They want it taken away. I think it's good that we have this warning, though. I think that it is a call for us to unite, that we don't have time to play around. We don't have time to be against one another. We need to rely on media sources like yours. People are very clear about how they feel about us. And we need to act in kind and not act in the way they necessarily want us to, because I do believe that they want us to get out in these streets and protest and so he can enact martial law.
And so I hope all of these people who were just sitting here just running their mouths and trashing Vice President Kamala Harris now realize there is a real difference between a Harris administration and a Trump-Musk administration.
Yeah, all that is facts. I'm just going to hit you with just a real quick 30 seconds of it. It said Black Lives Matter Plaza. They came with hands heavy with silence, dragging buckets of erasure, and if paint could swallow a revolution, as if footsteps could forget where they were headed, as if tongues could be tied after tasting freedom. But we are louder than pavement. Our breath breaks barriers. Our fists call Black lives still matter.
Well, they indeed do. But what you're dealing with here are Republicans who do not give a damn about Black lives at all. And guess what? All of those Black MAGA imps who were at the White House just dancing and shaking their asses at the Black History Month reception, it's amazing how quiet they are. They're real quiet.
They're quiet because this is probably what they wanted. Couldn't care less about this Black Lives Matter street. Even if it got torn down, couldn't care less. Couldn't care less.